There are no images of what's happening inside Managua's Chipote prison. It's where more than 40 government opponents are being tried behind closed doors for alleged conspiracy, terrorism, and much more. Human Rights Center Director Vilma Núñez calls it a judicial farce.
They've
not been able to prove any crime against these people who have been practically kidnapped and kept in prison, violating the law and denying them due process. There's no presumption of innocence. The lawyers have had no access to them until the day of the trial.
This is a model of an isolation cell where Núñez says the accused suffer from cruel and inhumane treatment, including torture. Would-be presidential candidate Felix Maradiaga faces up to 24 years in prison for leading an opposition coalition that demanded free and transparent elections last year. His wife, who says she and their daughter were forced to flee Nicaragua, believes a guilty verdict is a foregone conclusion.
I think the hardest part is having to console our 8-year-old daughter, knowing that he might be arrested. Felix sent her a taped message saying he loved her and would always be thinking of her, but it's difficult.
President Ortega began arresting his staunchest opponents, including 7 presumptive presidential candidates, 6 months before November's elections. He ran and won a 4th consecutive term virtually unopposed, but the elections were widely dismissed as a sham. 4 members of Carlos Fernando Chamorro's family are now being tried.
We are facing a great injustice based on political vengeance. Not just my sister Cristiana, but my brother Pedro Joaquin and 2 cousins. All of the prisoners are innocent and are being tried for participating in civic protests because they represent the desire of Nicaraguans to hold free elections.
Former Ortega ally Dora Maria Tellez, an emblematic rebel commander during the 1970s Sandinista revolution, is also being tried this week on charges of treason. As is 24-year-old Lester Aleman, a student leader who helped organize mass protests against Ortega in 2018. Ortega has ignored widespread international appeals to release the opposition prisoners, preferring, it seems, to make an example of those whom he accuses of trying to overthrow his government. But by tightening control and encouraging more Nicaraguans to join the tens of thousands who've already fled the country, the trials could end up making the country's political crisis even worse. Lucia, Newman, Al Jazeera.